Hi everybody, I'm Scott Ramsey from the New York Cider Association, and I am so thrilled because it is Cider Week New York 2021, and we're so excited this year because we are going statewide. So it's a celebration that's happening across the state, celebrating cider in a variety of different ways. And today we are actually celebrating cider with this delicious meal that's been prepared by Chef Laila and Najm. With Christine Sisler from Merchant's Daughter, pairing with Merchant's Daughter cider. So
hi guys.
This is phenomenal. Chef Laila, you had told me before that your cuisine is Mediterranean forward with Middle Eastern influence, right?
Yes,
Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I'm from Jordan and came to the United States around 9 years ago, I think. Generally my food tends to lean towards Mediterranean elements, but definitely with a Middle Eastern influence. I also like to pay tribute to the women in my family, and so I'll sneak in some of their recipes or some of their influences here and there, and I guess that's just my way of connecting.
Yeah. We
with
love
them.
to honor strong women who
Yeah.
really are the backbone.
Yeah,
no matter where you are.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's just my way of maintaining that connection from so far away. So yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah,
so I'm so excited to see and hear more about what you prepared and how it's pairing with Merchant's Daughter cider. So tell us about this first dish you've got going here.
Okay, so first up we have a smoked trout. I went a little lighter on the smoke because we're pairing this with a dry cider, and I didn't want the smokiness to be overpowering. Here we have bitter greens with a preserved lemon vinaigrette, and then I have radishes, pine nuts, and then some raisins that I soaked with the Clara cider, which is the one that's a little more sweet, because I felt the added sweetness with the bitter greens might be really nice. And so the dry cider has some lemony notes. It's crisp, and I just felt that goes really well, and it cuts through the fattiness or the oiliness of the smoked trout. And it complements the preserved lemon vinaigrette.
I couldn't agree more. I think our dry is clean and bright, and we like to say unapologetically tart, because we use a really great apple called the Northern Spy, which is very, very high in acidity. But what I think is really interesting is that you can not only drink Merchant's Daughter cider, but you can cook with Merchant's Daughter cider.
Totally.
So this dish I'm really excited to try because it has both the dry and also the claras as part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And so then what's the next dish that we'll be trying?
Right here we have a pearl couscous. It's a Levantine style couscous, and it's almost kind of like a pasta somehow. And then here we have braised vegetables and warm spices. And over here we have a charred chicken thigh that was marinated the night before in yogurt, the same braising spices and a little bit of honey.
Oh my God.
And,
So I think you paired that perfectly with our semi-dry. So our semi-dry still uses that bright Northern Spy apple, but we also blend it with more of the Jana Gold and also the Ida Red, which are two really luscious culinary apples.
Yes.
So you're still going to get those bright citrus notes, but it's going to have a softer edge. It's not going to be as laser sharp, so it's going to pair really beautifully with those warm spices that you talked about. So bring us home. What are we going to have for dessert?
All right, we have the Clara cider, which to me very much read like a Riesling, and one of my favorite pairings of all time is Riesling and blue cheese. So
soon to be a favorite pairing of all time will be this with the Clara's Reserve.
I agree. So that's immediately where my mind went. So here we have a local blue cheese from Connecticut. And then this is a grape jam, which is actually based on a recipe that my grandma gave me. And it's very simple. Yeah, it's just grapes, sugar, a little bit of lemon juice, really simple. And then we have some basil to just add a green herb element to it, and just served with a cider baguette. Super simple, straightforward, but beautiful.
And you were spot on about the Clara's Reserve, because the Clara's Reserve, I often say, is like an off-dry Riesling. So it doesn't use that very high acid Northern Spy apple. It actually uses a tiny little apple called a Crimson Gold, which is very high in tannin, and we blend it with an opalescent, which is this, amazing heirloom apple, and a little bit of Honeycrisp, actually.
Oh, wow.
And we always throw Liberty in there because our local growers are, big Liberty producers. So
Yeah.
it is going to be perfect with that blue cheese.
I agree.
I'm excited about all of it, and I kind of want to just dig into all of it, but maybe we should start back at the beginning.
I think we should. Yes,
Do you wanna
yes,
plate it
yes,
up for us?
absolutely.
This looks incredible.
Thank you.
Excellent. Wow, this looks amazing.
Thank you.
So this is with the dry, right?
Yes,
This is with the dry.
With the dry.
So I think what we're going to see is that it's going to, the slight smokiness and the spring greens with the radish is going to pair perfectly with this bright citrus, unapologetically tart that will cleanse the palate.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to try one of the Clara's Reserve. Oh, here we go. Clara's Reserve soaked raisins.
Yes.
And the pine nuts. We didn't talk about
This
the pine
is
nuts.
delicious.
Yes. I love pine nuts.
Oh my gosh.
It's an expensive thing to love.
Delicious.
Thank you.
Chef
Oh
Laila,
my
seriously.
God.
Thank you.
And with the dry, it's really
works.
exceptional.
It is. Chef Laila, tell us again. So we're pairing this with the semi-dry, and the
Yes.
semi-dry is going to be a little bit more apple forward.
Yes.
It's still going to have the citrus notes, but it's going to be softer in the finish.
Yes.
And so this has the warm spices. So tell us about the warm spices.
So there's caraway in there, coriander, cinnamon, a little bit of turmeric, and a little bit of cumin as well. And then the vegetables, we have sweet potatoes, chickpeas, mushrooms, zucchini, tomatoes, asparagus peas. So
it's
very
still
vegetable
spring
forward.
and vegetable forward.
Exactly,
and refreshing.
exactly. And then the chicken, like I said earlier, is just marinated in the same spices. A little bit of honey, some yogurt, a little bit of lemon juice as well, and then it's charred.
Wow.
Yeah.
So are these? Is there like a name of a spice blend when if it's put together?
This dish is actually loosely based on a very traditional dish called maftoon.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I borrowed those spices from that dish. Yeah.
To try it.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
Thank you.
And again, it pairs so perfectly.
It's perfect
It
pair.
is perfect.
So I'm curious to know, in this particular dish, I love the how special those influences from your grandmother and your mother are. Where are those in this dish?
Oh, so much so. So this is very much a dish that's very traditional to like the Levant areas, like Jordan, and this is like my mom would make this often, but it was always a dish that the whole
It feels
family
like home.
loved. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And this is something that is very familiar to you, like your grandmother and your mother.
Yeah, not the blue cheese part,
But
just
the grape.
grape jam part. Yeah, and this is like very old school. Like nobody does grape jam anymore. That's like something your grandma does.
And it's fairly simple, right? It's fairly
So
straightforward.
simple. My
Yeah.
dad loves it because it reminds him of his
So I'm watching
childhood.
you. So I'm just gonna
Yeah,
I'm
so-
spreading out the blue cheese
exactly.
And then I'm
Top it
gonna
up
put
with a little bit of the
on the
jam.
crostini.
Yep, and just take a
And
bite.
this is just a baguette.
Yeah, it's just
Easy
a baguette.
and simple.
Yep, easy
What
and
a
simple.
great
A little bit of olive oil on it because put olive oil on
Olive oil on
everything.
everything.
So, yeah.
And here we go.
Chef Laila, this is phenomenal. It's so good.
Mm.
Again, with the Clara's Reserve, it is such a beautiful, beautiful pairing.
The blue cheese with the sweeter cider, enhanced with like the little bit of salt and olive oil, and then with that hit of just that grape, jelly or
Sweetness.
jam,
Yeah.
sweetness, pairs.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the perfect bite.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the best things I think that cider does, especially New York ciders, is really bringing people together.
I do
especially
too.
over moments like this.
Yeah.
It's so fantastic.
Definitely.
So I want to tell everybody where, so
Merchant's Daughter is
merchantsdaughter.com.
merchantsdaughter.com. You can find us online. You can find us throughout the Hudson Valley now. And hopefully, we'll be more places, at the summer as we're growing post-pandemic world that we're in. So we're excited to be able to provide our ciders to everybody.
Excellent. And Chef Laila, do you have a digital presence or website?
Yeah. My Instagram is Laila Najm, And my website is same name, lailanajm.com.
Excellent, excellent. And we're going to put all those links, they'll be available right here with this video. I want to give a big shout out to Megan Spiro Photography, who's doing this
Absolutely.
phenomenal
Always,
behind the
always.
scenes but front and center work to make this so special.
Absolutely.
And again, you can check out ciderweeknewyork.com for all of the amazing things that are happening around cider in New York during this celebration of these 2 weeks. And also NewYorkCiderAssociation.com for everything that's New York Cider related. There's some really exciting stuff going on. We would love to have you join us. So thanks so much. Thank you, Christine and Chef Laila.
Thank
Of
you,
course,
Chef
my
Laila.
pleasure.
So special.
My pleasure.
Happy Cider Week.
Happy Cider Week,
Cider Week.
everybody.
Yeah. Cheers.
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 Cider Week New York is brought to you by the New York Cider Association with the generous support of these presenting sponsors. Join us at NewYorkCiderAssociation.com.